How's it going, everyone? Sethphir here, and welcome back to another Tower of Fantasy video. Today is going to be my Vera 2.0 Speedrun Exploration Guide. We're going to have a ton of tips, tricks, and secrets to help you navigate the map quickly and collect all of those sweet rewards. So we're going to go ahead and get started here, and the first thing we're going to talk about is Relics. The first section is going to talk about relics. Relics are very powerful tools for exploring the area, and the relics I would recommend is going to be first, you're going to want to have the Kuant and the Quantum Cloak. So you're going to have 3 sets. The second set, you're going to want to have the Jetpack and the Cybernetic Arm. And the final set, you want the Cube and the Omnium Hand Cannon. And the reason is that there's a lot of valuable exploration traits hidden behind the star levels of these relics. So for example, if you have a 3-star Kuant, when you activate the shield and the shield breaks, you will get a movement speed buff for 30% for 6 seconds, which is going to give you this little zoomy speed thing going on, which is always really nice to have. So make sure to include that when you're traversing through caverns. And the next thing is going to be Quantum Cloak. This is going to work at any stars. If you enter a combat with an enemy, you can go ahead and Quantum Cloak. You will go completely invisible, and that enemy will lose track of you. So he'll just go back to doing whatever it is he was doing, and you can collect whatever reward it is that you want. The other relics are pretty self-explanatory, but the final one is going to be the Cybernetic Arm. It is very useful as a grapple tool, so if you can grapple up to a high place and climb up, that's always going to be better, and I use this pretty much non-stop when I'm exploring. The other way that you can use this is if you grapple onto a building and then swap your relics. While your momentum is going forward, once the tether is pulling you there, you're actually going to fly into the air. So let's see that now. So if I swap here, I'm just flying really far. You get this awkward landing pose, but it can definitely gain you some distance, especially if you go straight up vertical. So you can use this to reach the top of a cave or a deep pit very simply. After relics, we have to talk about weapon sets. Weapon sets are very powerful. You can access them by pressing the N key, and you will have up to 3 sets available for you to choose from. I would recommend having 3 types of set. The first set would be the combat set, where you have your best weapons equipped with their matrix ready to go. The second set would be an elemental set, including 1 weapon of every elemental variety so that you can solve puzzles and mechanics around the area. I would strongly recommend for your weapon elemental choice types to most likely be ranged, because there will be puzzles that require you to shoot something really far. So if you have, Tsubasa or Cobalt or maybe Nemesis or whatever that may be, Samir, that would probably be the best way to go for that. And then finally, the last set, which we will definitely go into detail about, would be a movement set. So if you do happen to have Claudia, there is a little trick that you can do. The Claudia trick involves the use of a macro. So if you have something like the Razer program for your mouse or the Logitech G Hub, you will be able to enter in a sequence of commands that will allow you to pull this functionality off. But essentially what it is you are going to jump into the air, you're going to auto attack twice, and then once the animation launches you forward from Claudia, you're going to activate your jetpack and then put it away after that. But it's pretty much impossible to do for like humans exactly. You might be able to pull it off once every occasionally, but it's going to be very hard to do. So putting this into a macro is going to be easy. And I'm going to go ahead and put the macro up on the screen that I use. I use the Logitech G Hub function. So this will be the way to go for that. But the result is going to be this. You're going to be able to fly across the map essentially, and you can get a lot of lunging distance. So it's going to be very simple. And with the macro, you pretty much get it perfect every time. So you can kind of control the way you navigate and fly around the world. And you can combo this with the grappling hook as well. So if you want to get around Muroria City really quickly, you can use the grappling hook plus all of the tricks that you have mastered here that will allow you to get a lot of distance in a short amount of time. Now that we have movement tech covered with Claudia, let's talk about some other movement options, and that's going to be the mounts. The mounts are very important, but there is a Simulacrum trait that will increase your mount speed. That's right, if you have Hilda, this character you never thought you would use, you can turn on her Simulacrum trait for the Awakening that gives you 10% mount speed at the maximum 4K rank. And this may not seem like a lot, but if you are exploring and your entire goal is to collect goodies, you will be traversing the map a lot more quickly than you normally would be, so this is going to be a strong option for you. Speaking of mounts and movement speed, there are a lot of mounts in the game, but not all of them are created equal. The broom mount, as I have here, this magical chaser, is by far the best mount in the game because it is the most slender mount. It barely gets stuck on anything, and it hovers above the ground, so it allows you to get over small gaps of little water that may not be too high, or little rock or whatever may be scuffing your pathing, and this will allow you to get around a lot more quickly. If you do not have this mount, which drops from the Vermin Brothers, you can also consider using the Vespa, which is the Battle Pass mount, and in addition to that, you can use the Dimensional Cube, which I believe you got for signing up as a new player. Finally, we have the map resources. I know of 2 really strong map resources that I will link in the description down below, so I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys. These interactive maps will allow you to look at an area and see where all of the exploration, the pods, and everything is located, so you will just simply go through and systematically check those off. And I use this to get 100% on literally everything. I accomplished it in about a day and a half or 2 of just playing, and it definitely was a fun time to go. But while I explored this, I learned a lot of tricks. So I want to share with you some of my final exploration tricks. So the first thing that I did was to split hunting my 100% into categories. So you see how they're sectioned off here, like supply pods, or world exploration, or list of targets. So these are like name mobs you have to kill. I picked supply pods, the scenic points, and the list of named monster targets to go ahead and seek out on my interactive map. So I highlighted all of those, and I ignored all of the world exploration because that just put too many bubbles all over my map and it was a bit chaotic. So I wanted to focus on the pods, the named monsters, and the scenic points since there wasn't that many of them there. Once I collected all of those, I moved on to only the world exploration points. So then I collected all of those and systematically got them all up to the max. Now keep in mind that no matter what interactive map you use, there might be like 1 or 2 that's missing. So I will say that go ahead and double check across several maps and use the map markers to hit the found button to check off any item that you have located, and make sure to save your credentials by logging into one of those places with the interactive map so that you can go ahead and have a checklist that stays with you and it won't get reset, because trust me, the last thing you want to do is have your map get reset and have no idea where you left off, and then you're going to be searching for that one exploration point forever, and that is a disaster. So make sure you do not do that. My next exploration tip is going to be to divide the map into sections. So what I did originally was I cut off this top part of the map where it looked a different color, and I focused solely on this. So I got all of my supply pods in this area, and that seemed to help me. From there, I moved down to the next section and I cut off a little line, and I moved and got everything within that location, and then I went further down and further down. So dividing it into areas can be really good, but if you zoom out of the map a little bit, you can also see the different categories, as it lists in the bottom right here: Sandstorm Grounds, the Rock Pillar Gobby, and the Quicksand Belt. These are all locational areas, so I would definitely recommend on focusing towards one particular 100%, and then move on to the next area and get the 100%. So it goes top, middle, and then bottom. And that should help you out a little bit to divide it up systematically so that you can see actual progress instead of feeling like you're a little bit of a percent on everything and it's just going to take forever. So completing and checking off one zone seemed to work best for me. The final tip that I have is going to be to start from high to low. So when you enter particular areas, especially the dreaded Karst Caverns, which is over where I am right now, you will notice a lot of elevation difference in these levels here. And some of the maps, if you click on the node points for the interactive map, they'll have a note from other players that'll say like, hey, it's up high, or it's up low, or here's a picture, and that will definitely help you. But I would say start from the top. So if I were to open my map, and I know that I'm looking for a lot of resources here in the Karst Cavern, I'm going to get everything on the top side. I'm going to explore the entire top part of the mountain, every single thing I can find. And if I don't find that exploration node up top, I know that it's now down low. So once I checked off all those and checked that off on my map, I can jump in and then start exploring the deep cave systems that are going on here. because trust me, it's gonna be a little while before you're gonna be able to fully explore everything here and find all of these. Some of these took me hours to find just one particular one, or maybe even several minutes, like 10, 20, 30 minutes. Just depends on what happens in the situation. So there's a lot of puzzles that you're gonna have to invest in, but I think that using all of these tips in this guide is going to help speed up your progress a lot. I wish I had this when I first started, because it definitely took me a long time, but it was a fun adventure. I got so many rewards, guys. I had like, I can't even remember. I got 2 full gold nucleus pools, probably like 160 plus like 500 plus dark or black nucleus. So there was a lot of pools, including rewards like Mira and old Vera coins and all kinds of stuff. So I gained so many SSR weapons, and I hope that you have the same luck as well. Thanks for watching this guide, I truly appreciate it, and if any of these tips have helped you at all whatsoever, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell, follow the channel for more guides coming in the future. Thanks for your time as always, and we will see you in the next video.